I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. The time is 6:39. Did we appoint secretary?
Me.
Okay.
You don't need to point it. No, she won't.
Okay, thank you. Okay, if everyone can go ahead and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And Alex, could I ask you to lead us?
I have an elementary cadence, I hope that's okay. Very slow. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Chapman. Appreciate it. Okay, we'll move on to adopting our agenda. Can I get a motion to adopt tonight's agenda?
Madam President,
Gina,
I move that tonight's agenda be adopted as printed and placed on file.
is there support?
Support.
Thanks, Amy. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you. We've reached the consent agenda. Is there any board member who would like a consent agenda item to be removed and acted on separately? Seeing none, I will ask for a motion for the consent agenda.
Madam President,
Gina,
I move that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda items as presented.
is there support?
Support.
Thanks, Steve. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you. And we have reached our recognition for this evening. Thank you.
Good evening. We have one recognition this evening, and I'm going to ask Miss Lisa Hertz come up and help us out and tell us a little bit about the Just Right state competition and how well our students do.
Well, we wanted to thank the board for honoring our creative writers this evening. Congratulations to sophomore Caitlin Christopher, juniors Lily Ball and Renee Baker, and senior Anita Rossetti, who qualified for the state finals in creative writing this year. Caitlin, Lily, and Anita competed on May 11th at the University of Findlay at the Just Right State Championship. They wrote 3 stories in 3 timed rounds of 45 minutes each. They were given various genres and prompts that they had to respond to, so they had to think on their feet. They attended writing workshops in addition, and they attended the keynote address of mystery young adult writer Kat Frick, which was really cool. Lily Ball, this is Lily. She earned a best of round story at the state tournament, and her story's been submitted to be published in the Just Right 2023 anthology. Her place was 36 out of 425 students in the state, placing in the top 8% of creative writers in the state. Anita Rossetti could not be here today because she's a senior, and I think she's got an honors night happening. But if you know her, she's pretty amazing. She is a senior foreign exchange student from Italy. So she advanced to the state finals, placing 65th out of 425 writers in the state, placing in the top 15% of writers in the state in her second language, which we thought was pretty impressive as well. And then this is Caitlin Christopher. She is a sophomore, and she received a medal for placing in the top 15 writers in the regional competition in her poem Running, received a top 3 award selected by the poet laureates at the tournament and advanced to the state finals as well. She also placed in the top 20% of writers in the state. We had another junior, Renee Baker, who is not able to attend the state competition, but her performance at the regional competition qualified her for the state competition, placing her in the top 30% of writers in the state. So this is our first year for our Just Right Creative Writing Club at the high school. So we wanted to definitely thank our principal, Kevin Weber, and our assistant principal, Danielle Wilson, for giving us the support and guidance in getting this club up and running. And we wanted to thank Mr. Chandler Jakura. Because he volunteered his time to help come judge at the regional and state competition, all of our writers were able to compete. So again, congratulations to our creative writers this year.
If I could have the three of you step over here for a photo.
Go, Lily. Congratulations. Good job.
Perfect. Also, welcome you to come in front here and shake our board members' hands.
All right, we will move on to our public commentary for agenda items only. Are there other, so I'll also mention, if you are here for a recognition award, y'all can feel free if you don't want to stay. We're not going to be offended. I just want to let you know you're free to go if you want to. Yeah. Yeah, you can, I'm sure you're going to go home and watch it, so it's fine. Yes, you're welcome. Thanks for coming. You're welcome.
Enjoy.
Okay, so back to public commentary for agenda items only.
Hi, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm running for Monroe County ISD School Board, and just tell a little bit about myself in case you don't know who I am. And my name is Rita Benicki. I've been married to my husband Dale for 42 years, and I have 3 children and 4 grandchildren. I just retired in July from Monroe County, or from Monroe Public Schools. And I also started in 1986 at Monroe Community College. That's where I began my time that I've spent with children and young adults. So from there, I went on to the Monroe County Opportunity Program, and I worked with Head Start. And I was on the Parent Policy Council as a parent volunteer for that. And then I worked, they switched hands and worked with Wayne County RESA from there. I also worked at the Monroe County ISD for 3 years in the classroom. I was in the classroom with all of this. I went back to get a few more classes from college, went into the office, went to work at Monroe County, or Monroe St. Mary Catholic Central. Stayed there for probably 3 years. It was still considered kind of part-time as I was raising my family. I got a job in 2006 with Monroe Public Schools. I worked 5 years at the middle school in the office, in the main office. I did things like payroll and things like that. And then from there, I worked 4.5 years at Arborwood Elementary. I think Arborwood is probably one of the lowest socioeconomic elementaries in this area. So I learned a lot about kids there. It was bittersweet. That was good and bad. And then I spent the last 6.5, 7 years at Monroe High School. And that was really what I loved the most. I worked in the Career and Technical Education Department, and I was the administrative assistant to the CTE director. So I'm a big advocate of skilled trades and the kinds of things that offers our students. I just wanted to introduce myself because I know maybe a lot of people don't know who I am, but I find that being in the classroom and kind of boots on the ground, I think that makes me more than qualified. I have a lot of other things that I've done throughout the years. I volunteered 25 years with the 4-H Council and in the with students and kids there. I was the vice president of the union for the clerical union, so I went to work with all of the union negotiating and things like that. I also worked with the continuous improvement plan that they worked on through the board to put together a plan that would improve lots of things to help the students with the superintendent's goals and the mission of the school. I've done some other things also, but I don't want to keep you too long, and I know I don't have much time, but I wanted to read something that I received that I mean, through the years, maybe I didn't make like a lot of money as some other professions did, but the things that was most rewarding were the things that I received from the kids. So I got a lot of thank you notes and things like that. And one of the things that I really loved was a student gave me a note, and I'd had her at Arborwood Elementary, and she was in high school now, and so was I. And she came to me one day, and she handed me a little thank you card that she had made herself, and it said, "Thank you, Mrs. Benicki, because you gave me hope." And, just some other little things she said, but that was like worth it all. And I always said if I can make the difference in one student, that's what I wanted to do. So I want to read this letter that I received from Bedford Public Schools. A couple years ago, I was working with Jackie Lancina when she first was hired through Bedford Public Schools, and her secretary had passed away. And so, I had this like $2.5 million budget or whatever that we spent money, and we had like 15 or so programs that we worked with. And so I was in charge of that budget, and I also did state reports to the state of Michigan so we could prove how we spent that money and that it was the way we were supposed to spend the money. So Jackie was in trouble trying to get it all done, and I tried to help her out, just because that's what you do, I think. So this was a letter sent to Dr. Everly, who was our superintendent at the time. And it says, "I wanted to take a moment to pass along my gratitude for the valuable assistance Ms. Benicki provided to our CTE director, Jackie Lancina. We had a very unfortunate staffing crisis due to the passing of Ms. Lancina's assistant, coupled with some critical deadlines that were looming. Ms. Lancina was so grateful she asked me to send along a note to make sure this kind of professional and kind gesture to a neighboring district did not go unnoticed. I hope you can personally deliver this letter to Ms. Benicki, along with our thanks. Thank you again, and if we can help Monroe Public Schools, please feel free to reach out to us. Sincerely, Howard D. Schwager, Executive Director for HR." So I'm just putting that forward so you maybe will get a feeling for the kind of person I really am. And I would appreciate your vote as a board. And I'm also here, I will stay till the end when the second public commentary is, in case anyone has any questions for me. I'd be glad to answer them. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rita. Could you I forgot to mention to sign in on our
Sure.
sheet. Thank you,
Sure.
appreciate it. And thank you for coming tonight.
You're welcome.
Okay, we'll move on to board correspondence. I know Griffin had to leave, so he's excused. Carl, are you aware of any correspondence?
I am not aware since the last board meeting.
Okay. Okay, moving on to our Board of Education reports, the Bedford Township Government, Amy Bissell.
Nothing new to report.
Thank you. Bedford Township Park Board, Griffin is excused. Any other? Nothing? Okay, no report there. Michigan Association of School Boards,
Nothing.
Megan?
Nothing to report at this time.
Thank you. Policy Committee, again, we just had our board meeting last week, so We do have a policy update. Do you want to say it again?
Yes, I'll repeat. We do have two very brief updates to renew. They are very technology-centered. We have shared them with Jennifer Earl and Jay Daisley, as well as our legal firm, to go over and cross-check reference our current handbook, because some would require handbook changes as well. So as soon as that work is completed, we will have the committee, and we will make our changes and bring it for our first reading.
Okay, thank you. And Monroe County Association of Board of Education, Amy?
Nothing past to report, only to say that Monday I will be going and representing the board at the ISD to vote on our position for board, ISD board.
Okay, thanks, Amy. Okay, we'll move on to our superintendent's items, and Carl, you want to walk us through?
Yes, thank you. Our first item this evening that we have discussed several times during meetings, it is time to renew our non-homestead property tax and Headley reduction millage. We have, as a district, continued to hold this every 5 years. The state allows several options. We could do a 5, a 10, a 15, and a 20-year renewal. In speaking with our legal firm and working with Julie, and also the discussion we've had the last time, it is my recommendation that we adopt a resolution to renew for the period of 10 years for the non-homestead property tax millage for the community. Once again, I'll remind, this is not an increase in any way, shape, or form. Primary homeowners are not affected by this millage. It is a millage for non-homestead properties only. So anyone that owns a home and lives in their home as their primary residence is not affected by this millage. Historically, we have done very well in this millage. It's part of our operating expenses. It's extremely important to the district. The option for 10 versus 5 years, I feel, gives the district, it does save us money not having to run a campaign every 5 years. Being that we have so few rental properties in the community, I think this is a smart idea for a 10-year. I think anything beyond that might be, things do change, but our legal firm recommends a 10-year for us, and that's what I'm asking for this evening.
Okay, thank you. Can I get a motion on the floor for the consideration to approve the non-homestead property tax renewal?
Madam
And Headley?
President? Got it?
Yeah, got it.
I
Gina?
move that the Board of Education to approve the non-homestead property tax renewal and the Headley reduction millage election resolution as recommended.
Is there support?
Support.
Thanks, Dee. Okay, the floor is open for discussion. Any discussion? Go ahead, Dee.
We need to stress, you're so used to paying this. This has been on forever. It's nothing new. Trust me, it's nothing new. And it's really not that much. It really isn't on rental property. Pass it, please. We need it. It's not anything new. We're not asking for more money. It's just the normal check you write out to the tax people. It's a good thing.
Thanks, Dee. Any other discussion?
I would agree with the 10 years. I think that's a smart move rather than 5. Which, as you were going through the options in my head, I was thinking 10 years would make sense. So I would agree with that.
Thanks, Gina. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none. This is a roll call vote. Amy Bissell,
Yes.
Amy Drehorst,
Yes.
Dee,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Gina.
Yes.
Griffin is excused. The chair votes yes and the motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to the consideration to approve administrator contract.
Yes, well, we began tonight by recognizing one of our retirees, Mr. Howard Schwager, who has served the district for 13 years in the position of Executive Director of HR and Labor Relations. In a district such as ours, where we do have a total of 9 bargaining groups and exempt employees, we have a lot of contracts. This is a mountain of a position. He also serves as our Title IX coordinator and other various roles. So we after we've learned that Howard will be retiring, we embarked on a process to fill his his tall shoes. And through that process, it was very clear, based on the committee and the discussions that we had after the interviews, that we had one candidate internally that rose to the top. And I'd like to offer this position to current MRE principal Alex Chapman. He has a lot to learn. However, if you're filling tall shoes, being 6'5" probably doesn't hurt. So he'll have to sit on the other side of the table, of course, because he's taller than me. But I think Alex would be a great addition to my cabinet. I think he'd be a great addition for this board and for this district to carry on the professionalism and the level that we're used to here. He's at a good spot. We do have, as I mentioned earlier, we have all of our contracts settled with the BAA last week's being signed by the board. So he has some time to get in and get trained through our community groups, Metro Bureau, K-12 Alliance. He can get up to speed pretty quickly, I think. So I'm excited about his arrival, and I fully recommend him this evening.
Okay, thank you. Can I get a motion on the floor for the consideration to approve the administrator contract?
Madam President,
Megan?
I move that the Board of Education approve the administrator contract for Alex Chapman for Executive Director of Human Resources and Labor Relations as recommended.
Is there support?
Support.
Of course. We'll just put everybody.
Somebody's got to be the one. Pick one.
I think I heard D.
There you go.
Okay, the floor is open for discussion. Any comments, discussion? I would just say, even prior to us voting, I did have a chance to speak with Alex over a cookie in the back, and
That aren't any good.
yeah, I said that are horrible. Do not have them. I was just saying that it is a very exciting opportunity, and I think timing is perfect, and I think things happen in time and space as it's supposed to happen. And I said the only regret I have is fielding the comments from the parents and staff who are so sad that he's leaving Monroe Road. So quite a legacy to leave that district that school in the flood of just positive yet very sad parents and students and staff that will miss working with you every day. So excited to have you here. Any other comments?
I've heard nothing but great things also, through the PTO Vine, about you and how well you work with the PTO there. And if you work great with parents, which can be a little hard to do, I'm sure you'll have no problem in HR. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy. Okay, seeing no other comments, this is a roll call vote. Amy Bissell,
Yes.
Amy Drehorst,
Yes.
Dee,
Absolutely, yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Gina,
Yes.
Griffin is excused. The chair votes yes and the motion carries. Thank you and welcome. Okay, we'll move on to our cafeteria furniture.
Yes, I did add the link to the agenda. It did not populate on the screen yet. Perhaps if we refresh it on the back end, it'll populate. But we've been talking about this for some time, and we are working ever so closer to getting this completed. So this is part of the. Sorry, I'm trying to get this popped up here. Sandy, if you could open that for me, that would be great. While we're doing that, sorry. So, as we've mentioned many times, the district has, like all districts in the state of Michigan and across the country, has received additional federal funding reimbursements during the time that we were giving free lunches during COVID. And that reimbursement has allowed us to build quite a food service excess budget. And we have to spend these funds on food service only. We have to spend these funds within a finite amount of time. We have had 2 waivers in a row to spend it. It's difficult to spend all these funds in one fell swoop because it's a process. We used it first to redesign the cafeterias. Once that work was done, we also repurchased all new serving equipment throughout the district to the tune of, I think, about $500,000. We purchased new heavy equipment, freezers, cooking equipment, shelving for storage. We've gone through and basically replaced all the cafeterias. We've given bumps in pay and bonuses to employees in food service. The last plan that we had, we have few things after this, but the big last plan that we had was to replace all of the cafeteria furniture. Tom and his team do a great job every year. Because our tables fold up, the plungers in those tables start to wear out, and they're about $50 a piece. A normal table has 4 of them, I believe, Tom, correct? Torsion bars, thank you. Plungers, torsion bars. You know what I meant, though. Very, very
And so did
sophisticated
we.
technical talk here coming from the superintendent, thank you. So we've been replacing hundreds a year, and so really where we're at right now is we've been working with a company that we've worked with during the bond. They are an Omnia and Tip Source consortium pricing, so they submit their bids to these companies nationally, and just like State REMC, we get the best possible price without us having to go out for bid, and they give us the options we want. So we've been working with a company out of Troy. Tom and I went out yesterday and looked at finishes for this project. We are really excited about bringing it to. And one of the things, we are confined by the space in all of our cafeteria spaces, because in order to use these funds, it has to be a location that's dedicated to the food service. So our cafeterias are all dedicated to food service only, so we've been able to do all these great things. But the elementaries will be getting a mixture of new tables, different design, different color. They're going to get round tables mixed in with the long tables at both MRE and DRE. Jackman's cafeteria is a little smaller, and they actually have a larger number because they have some extra sessions. So we won't be able to put circle tables in there, but they will have combined seats with the table, so they'll fold up, be able to move out of the way. The junior high is going to have all long tables as well, because it's a very small cafeteria for the size of the student population. Some different designs of how the tables go, but they'll have, it'll be all new, and it'll be shiny in different colors, and it will look crisp with their new design if you've been inside the cafeteria yet. However, the high school, we've been able to do something different, and we set out and wanted to change the aesthetics of the cafeteria at the high school for our oldest students, our most mature students. We wanted to look more like a student center and less like a cafeteria you might see in, I don't know, a prison perhaps, something like that. I'm just saying, 30 rows of tables that go all the same way. So with that being said, eloquently, I think our students will really enjoy a change. So if you look at this design, we wanted to incorporate different levels of seating, different heights of seating, different types of material for seating. So I know it's probably a little hard to see, but on the right of here, up against where the windows are on the north side of the cafeteria, will be an entire row bank of booths like you would see in our hotel or in our restaurant. So soft-seated booths, you can clean them with bleach. They have a great material, very durable, commercial grade. We went yesterday and picked really nice red, grays, blacks, whites. The tables next to those here in this row are new tables. They are more like a whitish color with popping red seats instead of the blue ones we currently have. In the center, we have some circular tables that are also of white, kind of white veneer finish. The chairs themselves are separate. They'll be black chairs, and so they'll look really crisp with it. Another row of stationary tables, and then we have a row of half booths. So the back part is the booth, and the front, and so there's a booth on that side facing the north end, and then there's chairs you pull up to it. Behind that, we have some more stationary tables, and then up against the wall where if you've been in our high school cafeteria now, where the fight song is, there is a row of high top tables that are going to look completely different. So it does feel and look more like a student center with options for seating, and I'm sure it'll be it's kind of like the new loop, right? The first week will be tough to find a seat next to your friends, but I think people will settle in pretty quickly, and I do think our students will take care of these items. They are durable. They do come with a industry standard warranty, but the design is ready. I would bring it to and here's some different photos of it. I would bring it to the board for approval tonight, but after our finish selection yesterday, they still have to get some pricing back. It's all gonna be within budget, which we talked about earlier at both the mid-year and the beginning of the year budget. I think our students did help select this design. So Kevin has done a great job in including the interior design students and the student leaders. We had a Zoom call with the company. We went through the different options and they selected the ones that they liked the most. We went and finished and selected the finish, but you can see matches our decor very well, matches our colors, durable. These are the half boots and these are the high tops. So I think it's gonna really change the feel of that cafeteria. And additionally, we are installing in the stadium, I think, how many circular picnic tables? 12 built-in tables like they currently have behind the junior high. That section will be reserved for nice days for upperclassmen who have warranted an opportunity to do something different and go out there and have lunch as well. So we're trying to do everything we can to make it a more enjoyable experience for our students. And you can see just, our tables now are wood grain. Obviously, they're probably 30 years old. But really just an opportunity, 40 years old, an opportunity to continue replenishing the life expectancy list that we put together and continue to update. So I'll take any questions. Again, I'm not asking for an approval tonight. I don't have the final pricing. The total price is going to be roughly $320,000. We budgeted up to $350,000. So we're within our limit. And if we get it quickly, we will have them the week before Labor Day. So working as fast as I can.
Okay. Go ahead. Question. Are there any concerns with logistics for the bigger booths to move them if we need to clear the space?
Everything moves, except the booths obviously are much more difficult to move. The center booths, which split the center, move a lot easier. They're not quite as stationary. Tom did ask that question for obvious reasons. But the ones against the wall probably won't move very often unless it's a deep cleaning type thing. But the ones all in the center, everything else folds up and can move it out of the way. Stackable chairs that I think she said were 7 pounds each. They're the exact same chairs as we have in here. Just black base with, or is it black? What is it? Gray base with black seats to go with the white tables.
Thank you.
I have a question,
Go ahead, Dee.
but I think Amy was first. I
Go
saw
ahead.
her red light first.
I was waiting, Madam President. How many year warranty do we have on the high school stuff?
On the ones for the high school?
Yeah,
What was the warranty? She sent it to us yesterday. 12 years.
okay, that's not bad. Thank you.
Go ahead, Dee.
Well, first of all, remind everybody that this is bought from the wonderful grant, so it's no money out of our pocket, which is wonderful. But I'm looking, and it says we're ordering 40 chairs. Don't you think you should order more? In case they want to move them, they want to turn that round top into 8 people instead of 4.
Well, we don't have a lot of storage room, number one.
That's
We'll
right, we
we'll
sold
probably,
them.
we have to store them somewhere, and we don't want clutter, and the fire marshal frowns against that as well. But we'll probably order some, and we're gonna cart with it as well, so.
Okay, that's the only thing that I saw. I
And
want that black window too.
Yes, the challenge with each space was space, really. I would have loved to have done this in every building, but an example is the high school needed to have at the very minimum 390 seats. They preferred to have 407. We were able to get 410 was the seat count. So the junior high, we filled it with long tables, and that's exactly what we could get in there. So we were locked with space. The elementaries, JRE doesn't have the room because the round tables have fewer seats. They have 6 versus the 12. So we were not able to get any round ones at JRE, but MRE and DRE do have ones. It's just strictly based on seat count, what they need, and space. So we did the best we could, and principals worked with me on this and went back and forth. And so I think we all kind of selected the design that was best for each building.
And the coloring is all the same, that's what's in each building.
The color, the design color, all except for MRE, because MRE is yellow, orangish, and browns throughout the entire building. So I thought against just doing the cafeteria. However, when we get to the point when our new shiny 25-year-old building needs to be repainted, we can then transition over and do it. But the whites and the grays that we've selected will go with that color. Sure.
Madam President,
Go ahead.
I know quite a few high schoolers that are gonna absolutely love this.
The ones that helped us with it absolutely loved it, so they're really excited.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited for them. Thank you.
I would just offer that I appreciate the student union feel to it, so that there
Yeah.
are more gathering and social spaces versus just your 20 minutes to
Right.
have your food. So I think we'll see students use that space during additional free time before and after school, just kind of as a gathering location. So I think you guys have done a fantastic job designing it, so appreciate it.
Thank you.
I also appreciate the input that you guys sought for not only staff, but custodians and getting, I happen to think if I were a custodian and I saw a bunch of chairs and this rolling in, I'd want to have some consideration and just in terms of how am I gonna clean around it? How am I gonna make sure it's,
It will change the process of the high school a bit, but we do have bus drivers on their downtime that go over and are employed to help clean up and cover. So we do have more assistance than we do there. Initially, we were looking at detachable chairs for the elementaries too, but we were able to find a product that was a different line, but still had the same top that we could use with built-in chairs, so.
perfect.
And they don't make the built-in chairs for the high school because they're too large, they're different sizes. And then they had to go oval instead of round and it wouldn't fit. It's like a puzzle, we had to make it fit.
Sure. Good job.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead and move on to.
Sure.
Go ahead.
My next item is, last week, we discussed and elected Amy to be our MCISD board election member from our district. So as she mentioned earlier, she will be attending a meeting on Monday, I believe, to elect the two candidates that this board selects this evening. And she will go and cast the votes on behalf of the district. So this evening, we do have to select two candidates for the position. As a reminder, there are 4 candidates that are running for 2 vacant seats, both 6-year terms that would expire on June 30th, 2029. The incumbent candidates are Dale DeSlover from Monroe Public Schools, candidate Russell Bless from Monroe Public Schools, candidate Rita Benecki, who we met this evening, and candidate Jason Young, also from Monroe Public School area. Remember, we try as a county to elect members of the board that represent different areas. We have a member that lives in Bedford that is on the board at the ISD. This is Dale's seat and Russell's seat that are up. They're both from the Monroe area, so that's why it says Monroe Public Schools after them. So I guess if we could get a motion, Madam President, the board can have a discussion on who.
Yeah, so can we get a motion on the floor for our Monroe County ISD biennial board election resolution?
Oh, it actually
Yeah,
asks
how do we
for
say that
names.
again?
Yeah,
Would you entertain an opportunity to discuss before opening?
I would.
Okay.
Yeah.
As superintendent, I make recommendations to the board. This is a difficult one because I don't personally, I've met Dale DeSlover a number of times, and Dale was here last week at our last meeting. Typically, I make the recommendation on behalf of what I feel is best for the district. I'm not sure at this point, to be quite honest and quite frank. I've worked with Dale in his current role as a board member. I've never met Mr. Bless as the other incumbent. Rita Benecki came this evening. Those are the 2 candidates that have come before this board to introduce themselves. If you're asking for the superintendent's opinion, I think it matters when people take the time out of their lives to come and present themselves to those that will be voting on their behalf. I think that should have some weight into the discussion of the board. And so I guess my recommendation at this point would be, we've had 2 candidates that have come and introduced themselves. I think that matters. And the others I have not met, and I haven't heard from you as well. So I would have passed along any messages I received. My 2 cents.
Madam President,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll only add that of the candidates, I have met Dale DeSlover twice. outside of his time here. Once when I attended the leadership conference in the fall, and a second time when I went to a county ISD meeting. Both times when we spoke, he inquired about things, specific things in our district, expressed interest and support of things that were going on here. He does have grandchildren that attend Bedford. And Russ Bless, also I met, he was in attendance at the conference. So I met and spoke with him. Other than being able to say, I give credit to people who seek out leadership opportunities and chances to learn. I don't have a lot more to say about him, but I have met him.
Okay, thanks, Amy. Other discussion? I would just say I was just kind of looking through the current seated board. And as Carl said, we do have Dr. Martin, who's a trustee from the Bedford School District area. I also agree. I think that there's something to be said about, Bedford's a large district in Monroe County, and I do appreciate when candidates do come and kind of give us their background and come to the board meeting and make sure we understand, see who you are and also understand what your background is and what prompted you to seek a position, because the term itself is a long term. I mean, that's no doubt. And as I was looking through it, I do appreciate anyone who's willing to seek a leadership position, but being able to come in and talk to a board about your background is something I think we should also consider as we talk through the candidates. I will say, I know we need to put a motion on the floor, but I'm inclined to agree with Carl in terms of Dale, and then our second candidate being Rita.
Madam President,
Amy?
I'd also like to say I appreciate them both taking time, because I would have never known who any of these people were, honestly. And, taking time out of their day, and then the dedication I've heard from her years in it and Mr. DeSlover's years. I mean, that speaks monuments to me as well.
Thank you.
In experience, as Ms. Benicki mentioned, experience with CTE is the ISD receives our CTE funds and they come to us. So no matter who we select, I don't think this board and the superintendent will stop pursuing the funds that we deserve and we need to support our students. So whomever it is, they'll hear from us regardless from that standpoint.
Okay, other discussion? Okay, seeing none, are we at a place where I can get a motion?
Madam President,
Gina?
I move that the Board of Education designate Amy Drehorst to be the representative to the electoral body and identify support for Dale DeSlover and Rita Benicki to be elected to the MCISD School Board as recommended.
Support.
Thank you, Gina. Thank you, Amy Bissell. Additional discussion on the floor?
I just was kind of looking through the little bios that we received last week, and for Rita, I appreciate all of the volunteer work and all of the opportunity and experience with children, working with children of all ages, from preschool through college. I think that's a really important experience. And then in reading Dale's, he has accumulated over 1,400 credits in education.
Yeah.
So I felt like that spoke a lot, and just the fact of coming to our board meeting really resonated with me personally.
Thanks, Gina. I think, Gina, I read through them as well as looked at the background for Dr. Martin, and then we did have Russell Bless's. And I think, again, in looking at having a diverse board, I think I look at our board and not everyone up here is an educator. Some have financial backgrounds, some have education backgrounds, some have, kids in the district, home businesses, all of those types of things that make a board really diverse. So again, I think that's another reason why I think in our candidate selection on the table, I appreciate the diversity of backgrounds. Okay, seeing no other comments, this is a roll call vote. Amy Bissell,
Yes.
Amy Drehorst,
Yes.
Dee,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Gina,
Yes.
Griffin is excused. The chair votes yes and the motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item that I have this evening is consideration to acknowledge the date for the budget workshop meeting, which is scheduled for Thursday, June 15th. This is the third of 4 meetings within 5 weeks. So June, for all those times we canceled because we were up to date and we're doing so well, we're catching up now. So on the 15th, we would hold our annual end-of-year budget workshop. I know that we just did our amendment about a month ago, so I'm guessing not a whole lot has changed since the amendment, so it should be pretty painless, I think, for the Board of Ed to move forward as we prepare for the end-of-the-year meeting.
Okay, can I get a motion?
Madam President,
Megan?
I move that the Board of Education acknowledge the date for the budget workshop meeting on June 15th, 2023 as recommended.
Is there support?
Support.
Thanks, Amy. Any discussion? Is there any board member that will not?
I'll be out of town,
You will be out of town.
so you won't have to tolerate me.
Okay.
Questioning every penny.
I'll talk to Griffin. He had not indicated that did not work for him, but if everyone else can make it, we will obviously have quorum, and this is a critical meeting. So if anything changes in availability, let me know and we'll look at alternate date. But for this right now, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you. All right, still rolling, Carl?
Roland, number 6, consideration to acknowledge the date for the 2023-24 budget/end-of-year meeting, which is the 4th meeting in 5 weeks. That'll be Thursday, June 22nd, and that is usually a very brief meeting with few, if any, agenda items other than closing the school year out.
Okay, thank you. Can I get a motion for this meeting?
Madam President,
Amy?
I move that the Board of Education acknowledge the date for the 2023-2024 budget year-end meeting for June 22nd, 2023.
Thank you. Is there support?
Support.
Thanks, Amy. Any discussion?
Please sign here.
I will not be able to.
Okay,
I'll see.
thank you. Dee, you're back in?
I
Okay,
am.
all right. Any other discussion on this topic? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. All right, instructional items. Dr. French?
Yes, we're thrilled to have Kim Welch here tonight to talk about something that was new this year, our tech teams and Chrome crew. So she has a presentation for us.
Thank you, Dr. French, for letting me have the opportunity to show everyone what we're doing. Again, my name's Kim Welch. I'm the Ed Tech Coordinator in the district, and I've been training teachers for 10 years now in the district. And so I am so excited that now we get to take it to that next step and build student technology leaders in our district. So this is a really exciting time because this is what empowered me to get to this role myself is, how technology impacts students and their learning. So I'm really excited. So if somebody could move to the next slide, I think, okay. This is Douglas Road Elementary. So each school district, or each elementary has 8 kids. And the next slide is our Jackman Road Elementary students that do it with us. And the next slide is our Monroe Elementary students. So what we do is once a month, the students come and meet with me, and I teach them something that I feel that could help teachers and students. and they promote it in the classroom. What's so exciting about this is that they had to apply for these positions. And so I have 2 from every classroom. And so even though I could take 8, in one of the buildings I had 64 students apply. So it was just so, empowering to see that we have all of these students excited to do this. So on the next slide, you'll see that in order for this to work, we wanted to make sure that every teacher had the opportunity to have a student to go to their classroom. So, and this was so cute because I made them schedule, but even the students made their own schedules to give to teachers. And then every morning, they would, after they checked in, they would go to the teacher. And so, from every day would be like, one day would be kindergarten, first grade, and they would check in to see if they had anything that the teachers needed them to do. This could be creating videos for students on how to do things in the classroom. It could meet with new students. So they would check with them each day. So on the next slide, the next few slides, I wanted to show you what are some of the things that we worked with the students. So if we go to the next slide. One of our very first things, because we started at the end of October, is coding. So in December is Hour of Code. This is a national thing. And kids are so excited about it because it's like video games, right? And so we introduced Hour of Code to them, and they went to the classrooms and showed them how they could use Hour of Code. It's a program that teachers can use, and they get to go through the lessons, and it really promotes computer science. So it was very exciting. So they would go and do this with kindergartners and first grade kids. So this was wonderful. The next thing that we did was talked about creativity. So as we know, every child is unique. So, we really try to promote having different tools that kids can use to show their learning. So some of the things that we did was Book Creator, where the kids would create a digital book to show their learning on favorite things that they're doing. Flip is a video response. So the kids could share their thoughts and ideas with everybody. And what is so great about this is that with these tools, even those quiet students in the classroom could get their voice heard. So that was really exciting. So the kids would all learn these with myself. They would go model them in their classrooms and then do it with kids. And they just loved it. So you could see that they were showing their projects right there. They were excited. The next thing that we did was the new students. So one of the things that in the past is that when we'd have new students, I would always go, or Jennifer Earl would go, and we would introduce ourselves and talk to them about how to use the Chromebook. Well, as you know, because of the pandemic, everybody knows how to use a Chromebook for the most part. So now the kids are pretty well versed, even from kindergarten now, since we're K through 12. So now we're giving that power to the students. So what happens is the kids have this little guideline. So when new students come in, I will meet with them, but they also have the opportunity to work with these students. And, nothing is greater to have, these students as role models in the building, because kids are more likely to talk to other kids than to talk to grown-ups. So it's really exciting to give this power to the students. And with this, in the next slide, we also have building essential skills. So as kindergarten and first grade, they're learning all of these skills. We want to make sure that they have the opportunity to do so. And what's very helpful for K-1 teachers is to have additional support. Because that's huge. When you have 25 computers in the classroom and one teacher, that's a little overwhelming. So now these students, then once they learn a skill, like when kindergartners scan their badges or learn how to use a Google Doc, those technology students from the student tech team will pull them out one at a time to reinforce those skills. So it's not just feeling like it's a job of the teacher to teach all 25 of these students how to do that. So, and the students love it. It was funny at the beginning when we first started this, they would go to the classrooms and they'd be like, do you need me to do anything? Do you need me to do anything? And the teachers would feel so bad. They're like, I want you to help. What do you think you should help us with? Because the kids are just so excited to help them. So, so these are some of the things that the kids did, and they thought, well, you know what? We could organize bookmarks, show them how to add bookmarks to there, how to remove bookmarks. So a lot of these things come from what kids feel that students need as well when they go and help them. So it's exciting. And on the next slide, this was so well at the elementary that we decided to take the next step and to do it at the junior high. So starting in February, March, we started the junior high Chrome Crew. We call them the Chrome Crew, the next round up here, and which is really exciting. So the way it works with the Chrome Crew is that they start from, we're going to have it from January to December so that they can help us with that Bronco Roundup at the beginning of the year. So we get so many new students that enter in the beginning of the school year. So they're going to be there to help with the Chromebooks, help with new students, and then also help teachers with support, just asking if they need a video on how to do something. You know, when new students come, Schoology is a big thing in our district. So to have a student talk to that other student is a really great opportunity to do that. So we do that. And the next slide, another big thing that we are doing at the junior high is digital citizenship. I mean, you know, this is the time of social media for junior high students and, you know, really putting our best foot forward. So one of the things they did this year was they created posters, digital posters on, you know, again, talking about, you know, putting that best digital footprint. And next year we're going to continue on that path of some great opportunities to learn more about making, you know, the best choices that we can and modeling that for our junior high students. And the next slide, we have, of course, you always have the students that go above and beyond, and these are just running slideshow presentations that actual students created for classrooms. And so one of them was 2 fifth grade students that decided to make a slideshow presentation for second graders so that they could work on their skills over the summer. So things that they taught them throughout the year, they wanted them to be able to still use that over the summer, so they created one for them, which was amazing. So that was Evan Miller and Vivian. And then Connor Dazel at the junior high, he created one on being safe online and, you know, with cybersecurity and things that you need to know. And he did that for his homeroom class and for Mrs. Slater, who teaches all of the art classes over at the junior high. So they did that on their own because they wanted to share that message. So we're building these leaders, and it's just a great opportunity for them to do this. So thank you so much for letting me share this with you. As you can tell, I'm a little excited about it, and we're excited to see where this goes. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Kim. And I know there's network, this is for information purposes, but again, Kim, I appreciate your enthusiasm over this. It resonates, and you can tell. And just for my benefit, right? So my youngest son, who is now 22 years old, he had Kim in elementary school, where very similar. I mean, not quite as robust as this, but just teaching students about technology, and it was an after-school program that Kim led up, and so this is fantastic. He is very tech savvy, like he is, and so I think that early exposure. It was Chromebooks for all students. It was just right on that verge of starting to do that, and so I love the innovative idea. I think this is great, and you're right. You're cultivating interest in it. Leaders who are thinking about cyber. Safety, and in addition, it's also nice to have those extra hands when it comes to all staff, including our tech team. So thank you so much. I appreciate your energy always in this space. Okay, seeing no other comments, again, thank you. We'll move on to our personnel items. Are you taking them?
Yes, excuse me, I will cover for Howard. This evening, we have 2 items for your consideration. The first item is consideration to accept the BEA resignation from English High School at the senior high school, Ms. Haley Holmgren. And the second item is consideration to accept BEA retirement, 7th and 8th grade math instructor at the junior high school, Mary Jane Pridgeon.
Okay, thank you. Can I get a motion for the BEA resignation?
Madam President,
Amy?
I move that the Board of Education accept BEA resignation of the English instructor at the senior high, Haley Holmgren, as recommended.
Is there support? Support. Thanks, Gina. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you. Can I get a motion for the consideration to accept BEA retirement?
Madam President,
Megan?
I move that the Board of Education accepts the BEA retirement of the 7th and 8th grade math instructor at the junior high, Mary Jane Pridgeon, as recommended.
Thank you. Is there support?
Support.
Gina? Okay. Thanks, Gina. Any discussion?
Madam President,
Go ahead.
I just want to take a moment to congratulate Mrs. Pridgeon and wish her well on her retirement. I fell in love with her, and when my oldest daughter got to her 8th grade algebra class, seventh grade advanced math, I think was the class. And one of the first things Mrs. Pridgeon said was, there's no crying in math. And angels sang. So as a parent, it was just fantastic. And I don't know that there was ever crying again in math after that moment. So I wish her the best.
Awesome, thank you, Amy. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries, thank you. Moving on to our financial item, and Julie?
Thank you, Madam President. There is actually no financial impact associated with this. This is just the annual board's approval for the district's participation in the MHSAA organization, which is the Michigan High School Athletic Association.
Okay, thanks, Julie. Can I get a motion?
Madam President,
Gina?
I move that the Board of Education approve the MHSAA membership renewal resolution as recommended.
Is there support?
Support.
Thanks, Amy. Dreehorst? Any discussion?
Madam President,
Go ahead.
this is actually not on the printed agenda.
Or on the
No, it's on the cheat sheet.
It's out of order. It should have been C instead of D,
Oh, okay,
so it's out of order.
okay.
Oh, there it is. Okay,
We'll make the recorrect it in minutes.
got it.
Okay.
Okay, any discussion about the motion on the floor? Okay, seeing none, this is a roll call vote. Amy Bissell?
Yes?
Amy Dreehorst?
Yes.
Dee?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Gina?
Yes.
Griffin is excused. The chair votes yes and the motion carries. Thank you. Okay, we've reached our second public commentary. Any additional public commentary? And sorry, I did not say this the first time, but yeah, again, if you can sign in and just say your first and last name, and then you do have 3 minutes of the board.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Yes, I'm Rita Benicki. I just wanted to mention quickly that I forgot to say earlier that Monroe Public Schools did recommend me as one of their votes too. And as she was speaking about the coding, the CTE thing came up in my mind, and I thought that would be a great CTE program, which would kind of go, and you could use it hand in hand with a cybersecurity. So I just wanted to say that. But thank you very much for having me tonight, and I appreciate your vote tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. Any additional public commentary? Seeing none, we will move on to our announcements and comments. And Alex, are you going to? Okay, go ahead.
He's wearing a lot of hats.
Yeah, it's a lot of hats.
Hi, I thank you. First, before I'm here representing the Bedford Administrative Association, just with commentary on each of the buildings. But first, I wanted to thank everyone for the vote of confidence, and I really look forward to joining this wonderful team in cabinet. As Lisa mentioned, the timing is great for me to explore this opportunity, and it's a wonderful opportunity for me personally and professionally. And I really appreciate all of you. So thank you. To BAA news, with us just coming from a board meeting last week, I don't want to hit you with. I know we had a pretty long list last week, so I'll just keep things very light tonight, and I'll put Monroe Road, Jackman Road, and Douglas Road all together at the elementary schools. We're kind of wrapping up 5th grade recognition. I know a lot of cabinet members and board members have attended those ceremonies, and we definitely appreciate that. Kindergarten, we also recognize in different ways as well. I know Jackman Road is sliding into 1st grade tomorrow, which is pretty exciting. It sounds pretty cool. We try to refrain from calling these graduations. We try to call them recognition ceremonies. 4th grade mini society is starting to wrap up. And we're just kind of wrapping up the school year and preparing for next school year already. So that's pretty exciting. I personally will be in a dunk tank tomorrow. And 619 students will have 3 opportunities to dunk me, which many will. Thankfully, it only comes up to my waist, so it's not that bad. The water. But it will be cold nonetheless. We filled it today. Hopefully that 90-degree day will help. Over at the junior high, Mr. Hurley wanted me to share that the fifth graders all took individual tours this week, and that was really exciting. I love that we're doing that. That's something historically that we haven't always done. So giving our fifth graders a sneak peek into the building during a school day, so they got a little field trip out of it as well, was pretty neat and exciting for our students. They also had Civil War Day on Monday, and the 8th grade recognition is, I'm sorry, Civil War coming up on the Monday, the 8th, sorry. And 8th grade recognition is next Wednesday morning, which is really exciting as those students transition to high school next year. And over at the high school, they are really hopping. Academics and athletics are wrapping up in preparation for graduation. And Mr. Weber was extremely proud to share that $2.7 million in scholarships were earned by Bedford High School seniors this year, with $250,000, so 2.5 of that 2.7 million is given by local donors. So that's extremely exciting news to share. So that's all we have for the BAA. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Appreciate it. And Sandy, PTO and Public Relations. She said I'm coming. Oh, nothing. Oh, I thought she said I was coming. See, good thing you're here. Okay, we'll move on to our executive cabinet, and I'll start with Julie.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to say congratulations to all the retirees and best wishes in this next part of your journey that you hopefully get to really enjoy. Congratulations to the Just Right creative writers, Lily, Anita, Caitlin, and Renee. I have a daughter who is an English major in college in creative writing, and so that kind of holds a special place in my heart. So I am really impressed with the work that they've done. And just a reminder that the 18 mills on the tax levy is so important for the district. It's a great part of our funding each year. And as Dr. Schultz said, it's not an increase to any taxpayers, not even landlords or business owners. It's just a continuation of what's already been in place since Proposal A in the 1990s. The tech teams and Chrome Crew, I love that presentation. That is a great opportunity for young students to give them just skills and confidence, and what a great idea. That was a really enjoyable presentation. And congratulations, Alex. I think you're going to be a great addition to the cabinet, and looking forward to working with you.
Awesome. Thanks, Julie. Move over here to Tom.
I would just like to ditto everything Julie said.
Thank you, Tom. And Mark?
Yeah, thank you. Just congratulations to all the retirees. Such experience demonstrated in them tonight. I am going to miss Howard very much. I've been with him 7 years, and as you know, we've been on a journey for 7 years, but I think we've come to some good places over that journey. But he's been a wonderful colleague, and at the same time, another esteemed colleague, Alex, is stepping up. So excited to work with Alex in his new role. So congratulations. Thank you, Kim, for the wonderful presentation. That's so exciting, and your excitement was just filling the room too about it. So great to see that. Wanted to mention from our discussion of data the other day, it didn't come up in our conversation. I had already initiated a pilot of a survey at the junior high school. It's a survey I'm familiar with called the Trends Survey. I used it as a principal when we were working on climate and culture in the district I worked in all of our buildings, and we were seeing it as an ongoing process. So it's a survey you typically administer biannually. So you find out data, you have a chance to work on the things that's telling you about, and then in that third year you resurvey to see improvement. And I know after we had done a cycle of 3 surveys, we saw great improvement in the things we were working on in my school. So with that in mind, the survey deals with climate and culture. It deals with how do students experience the common areas of the building? Do they feel safe in those areas? How do students interact with other students, with teachers? teachers' interactions. So it takes the view of the students, staff, parents. You get all that data. A lot of the questions overlap, so you can compare how people are perceiving those different things. So the junior high is piloting it, but the intention is for all the buildings to use it then on a biannual basis to help with our strategic design and school improvement. So I just wanted to mention that. And looking forward, I mentioned it briefly the other day, but coming up in the next couple of weeks, you saw some of the data from the elementary mathematics efforts. They're taking that to the next level with our consultant and coach, Shannon McCartney, and her team, really digging in further to curriculum and what that will look like in the coming year based on all their work so far, and then what will the coaching look like in the coming year to keep that effort moving forward. So excited about that, and excited to be at graduation with you all on Sunday.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Carl?
I also will echo everything Julie and Mark and, not you, Tom. Everything said. Sorry, you didn't add anything. Yes, I'm also excited for commencement on Sunday. It's always a great event. This district does such a nice job. Having it at Savage Arena is comfortable no matter what the weather. I don't have to worry about it. Kevin doesn't have to worry about it. It's probably a break even between what that and what we'd have to do to the field every year. So, yes, excited for Sunday. Welcome aboard, Alex. As I mentioned when I was talking about Howard, not an easy job. All of our cabinet jobs are difficult in their own way. We don't have a team of 30. We have a team of just several here that work together, and we cross lines a lot. And sometimes we have difficult conversations, but we always end up what's right for kids. So I welcome aboard, and we'll miss Howard, and he'll enjoy himself as he is tonight after the ceremony. For the board, thank you again for the support on all the initiatives we've been doing. I know I throw things at you fast and furious sometimes, and some of the ideas we have they just develop quickly. So thank you for your patience and for understanding. And Kim, thank you again for working with our students. And I love the idea. I can't wait until they start doing the helplines and working with parents on some of those items. I think they'd be a great support as well. But it's as we wrap up this school year, I'm looking forward to what we do this summer and the finishes of the projects that we have going on: auditorium, stadium, cafeterias, new curriculum materials, as Mark has mentioned. But another great year, and I'm excited for these last few weeks. And as kids wrap up, and I went to two, not graduations today, but two fifth grade recognitions. I know our parents and students are excited for their next journey as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Carl. We'll move on to the board. Megan?
So many great things that were talked about. I don't have a lot to add, but I think it's just worth saying that congratulations to all the retirees and everything that they've done for our district, for our kids, for our families, and for the Bedford community over the time that they've served. We are very much appreciative of that.
Thanks, Megan. Amy?
I just want to congratulate all the retirees in general. One in particular, I'd like to send a personal congratulations to Jenny Perry. Her son and my son were friends all through school. On a professional level, I am closely aware of the impact that she had on one particular student. I'll get choked up just thinking about it. But I'm sure that this student is not the only one that she worked with. And the impact that she made on that one student's life is worth the years that she spent doing this job. So congratulations to her. Alex, welcome. I'm thrilled that we were able to fill the position from within. I think anytime you can do that, it's a win right out of the gate, because you already know the district and there's so much to learn, but you've got that already out of the way. And in my professional life, we spend a lot of time focused on company culture, and we already know you're a cultural fit here. So I'm looking forward to see what you'll add in the position. And I'm looking forward also, as everybody else is, to Sunday. Congratulations to the graduates. And that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Amy. Amy Bissell?
I just want to echo everyone else's words. Congratulations, Alex. Congratulations to all our retirees. And that's it.
Thanks, Amy. Gina?
Ditto also, congratulations to our retirees and to our graduates. We're looking forward to seeing you on Sunday. It's been a really great year, but still work to do. We're gonna have another great year next year.
Thanks, Gina. Dee?
Everything that they all said, I'm not gonna repeat it, because I really don't remember all of it, but I do have one thing. Do you have this class for grandparents, Kim? Because once they become teenagers, they're no longer available for grandma. And remember why you had to come early. Thanks, everybody. I can't wait for Sunday. It's always wonderful. And I have a grandson. Yeah.
Graduating, right? Not a
Yeah.
new one.
Well, I have a whole bunch of grandkids.
Yeah. I was like,
Rabbits. I have one graduating. Yes, it's exciting. Thank you all. Have a good night.
thanks, Dee. Again, I'll triply, quadruple, ditto everything people have said. I appreciate our staff. I appreciate the years of service that they have added to our district and recognize the long hours and sacrifices that they make with their own lives to ensure our district. And I think I said this last week, and I'll just repeat it again this week because it's important to me. Every person employed by the district, whether they're a volunteer or a paid staff, they play such a critical role in our development of our students, development of our staff, and the role they play in the community. And one of the things that, as a board member, I continue to be in awe over is how much our staff put into our students and our district outside of just educating students, cleaning buildings, driving students. They do play a huge role, and we as the district get called upon frequently to help support students in families outside of just educating them and getting them from place to another. And as board members, fortunately and unfortunately, we're privy to a lot of that interaction that happens as Dr. Schultz keeps the board apprised of everything going on. And I think most community members would be shocked to know how much our staff and our administration support our families and students in all walks of life things, not just in education. So when I see these retirees, I think yay for them, sad for us because I love the years of service. But wow, I don't think when you leave education you ever leave it behind, but I think what a relief because it's tough some days, I'm sure, rewarding more so than others, but I do appreciate those years of service that they've brought. Graduation, I think Gina often refers to us as not being the same person because graduation is literally my most favorite day of the year. And I love seeing the students' faces. So Sunday, super excited. And it's actually going to be a perfect day. Partly sunny, 76. All the pictures before and after will be perfect. So looking forward to seeing our seniors and our families there. So this does not conclude our business for today from a board perspective. We do have an executive session prepared for our superintendent evaluation this evening. And so I believe we're going to take a motion. We're going to discontinue the feed.
Yes.
And then go do the evaluation in closed session. And then will we reopen the feed to close the meeting?
We will not reopen. There's no need to reopen the feed. There'll be no business after. We'll open up, we'll close, come out of closed session and close the meeting and adjourn.
Okay, perfect.
No other business.
Okay, thank you for that. So with that being said, can I get a motion for
Madam
the executive
President?
session? Amy?
I move that the Board of Education close the executive session and return to the wrong one. Sorry, guys. I move that the Board of Education move to closed session pursuant to Section 8A of the Open Meetings Act to review the superintendent evaluation as recommended.
Thanks, Amy. Is there support?
Support.
Thanks, Gina. Any discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote. Amy Bissell?
Yes.
Amy Drehorst?
Yes.
Dee?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Gina?
Yes.
Griffin is excused. The chair votes yes and the motion carries. Thank you. It's 7:57. Thank you.